So, possibly the most anticipated sim racing game since the last one has been released as early access. Assetto Corsa EVO. In this short video, I'm going to talk about what's good, what's not so good, and see if I can provide a summary of my thoughts. And let's face it, what the hell do I know? Before we get started, let's talk about the reviews I've already seen. So some are saying great things about this early access release, others are clearly unhappy. The one thing all these reviews have in common is that they've all been made by serious sim racing enthusiasts. The sort of people that talk about the realism or lack of, how the cars sound, how the force feedback replicates the actual feeling of driving a Ferrari 296 at 150 miles an hour, how a curb feels through the steering wheel, or how it feels when the car loses it under braking. I have to be honest, I have no clue about any of that. I've never driven a Ferrari 296 on a track. In fact, I've never driven any car over 100 miles an hour on any road. I'm just a fan of racing games, and all I want to do is race online on a good game with my friends and other racing fans. I also think that most people playing these games are in the same camp as me. So what you're about to hear is very much the simple man's review of Assetto Corsa EVO. All that being said, let's crack on and talk about this thing. So, how does it look? This seems to be an important element for most people. Can we see the beard on the man in the crowd that's sitting 15 rows back in the stand? Or the bird's nest in the 6th tree on the right as we head down the main straight at Bathurst? Personally, I spend all my time looking at the road directly in front of me, and the surrounding trees etc. could be a shade of purple for all I know. What I can say is that the game looks great from the driver's seat. The interior of all the cars is crisp with some great details. Check out the stitching of the word Mazda on the steering wheel in the MX-5 for example. The road detailing looks good with all the relevant skid marks at the braking points, and you can identify all the objects surrounding the track as you hurtle by them at breakneck speeds. Not once did I mistake a tree for a Ferris wheel, and the crowd in the stands look like people, so in my book that's a win. Racing in the rain or at night also looks great, and the day to night transition is very smooth, unlike ACC, which seems to drop a grey sheet across the screen as the clock strikes 9 PM. It's a thumbs up from me for the graphics. But what about the sound? It sounds like a racing game. The cars go vroom vroom and the tyres screech when you push them too hard. I have no idea if the BMW M2 sounds like a BMW M2. I've never driven one. But it growls and it makes car engine noises. It doesn't quite have the ambient noises of Assetto Corsa Competizione, the squeaks and the rattles that you hear from inside the car, or the sound of the gravel kicking up off the road, so in my opinion ACC still wins on that front. But overall, ACC EVO makes all the right noises in all the right places. How about the big one? Force feedback. This is a contentious issue for a lot of sim racers. I hear cries of, it feels numb and I have no idea when I'm losing traction and I can't feel the curbs. All of this may be true, but then FFB is a very personal thing, and you have the option to fine-tune it in the FFB settings. Personally, I like a bit of resistance in the wheel, but not too much. Others still want to feel like they're trying to do a 3-point turn in a car from the 1970s, and that's fine. All I can tell you is that the FFB feels good to me. It rumbles when I go over a curb, it resists my inputs when I'm going around a corner, and you feel a jolt when you run into the back of the incredibly slow AI cars. What about the UI? It's a bit blur, but you can find your way around the menus etc. with a few clicks. The one annoying thing for me was the separation of certain settings between the settings menu and the main race menu. I spent a while in the settings menu trying to figure out how to put my pit limiter on or how to turn off automatic transmission. Sure, if I'd opened my eyes on the main race menu, I would have seen these options, but I would expect them to be in the settings. I did have some issues when trying to stream the game. I ramped up the number of AI cars to 20 and my PC flatly refused to entertain it, crashing OBS more than I crashed the 296. This is an optimization issue, which I'm sure the developers will sort out in time. So the big question, should you buy this game? In my opinion, for the measly asking price of £26, it's a no-brainer. It will never be as cheap as this, and the game will only get better over time. Even if you buy it and don't install it or play it, in 6 months from now, you're going to have a decent, if not excellent, racing sim at a rock bottom price. So that's it from me. I'm sure plenty of you will disagree with my view, and that's fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions, and we should be allowed to express them. Let's all just enjoy the racing games we have on offer at the moment. ACC is still brilliant, and LMU is providing some stiff competition. My final thought is, though, that ACC EVO will rally after a slightly dubious start and land a big left hook on the competition in the months to come. Think Rocky IV and the final fight against Drago. Even the haters ended up cheering for Rocky. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It gives me tingles.